I mean, I remember walking in with the DVD and just said, "Don't even waste your time. Like, watch this and hire this guy, and you'll be fine." You know.
Talk to me about the very first time, according to your memory at least, that you and I first connected.
If I remember correctly, it was a Facebook thing, right? You sent me a message through, it was a messenger, right, on Facebook.
It was. The very first time we connected was a Facebook message, which to you looked like one message. From my perspective, was Facebook stalking every single person that worked on the show. But to you, you're like, oh, I got a message. So yes, the first time we met was a Facebook message.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's interesting is obviously you're not the first person to sort of reach out to me. And, I am one of those guys, if you sort of take the time and you reach out, most of the time I will respond with some sort of message or advice. And, usually, obviously I work a lot, I'm busy a lot, but I also know, when I started out, I had a lot of people that sort of helped me along the way. So it's just one of those things where, I always feel like it's one of the ways for me to give back. So when I get those messages, I might not respond right away, but I usually respond with something. And like I said, I remember you wanting to sort of get together because you were trying to make the transition. And I do remember you talking about, at the time you had was it a trailer sort of company, or you were doing promo stuff?
Yeah, I had built a boutique post-production facility that was doing a combination of long form and short form, where I had a small group of independent contractors that were working with me, where a client would hire me, but because the workload was so high, I would basically, subcontract other editors. I would supervise them, and we would do both trailers, promos, featurettes, and some long form work. And it was actually the web series feature film that I was working on that I used to get your attention. So that was where it all started. Was I'd sent you the trailer for it.
Exactly, and like I said, I remember being intrigued because like I said, it was. I thought the trailer was really well done. It reminded me of Burn Notice in a lot of ways. And, this is where the sort of luck aspect of it comes along is, we were looking for an editor at the time because I believe Matt got his other series and I knew I was going to go do that. And so it was a question of who was going to sort of replace me while I was sort of working on that. So originally I believe it was just going to be like for maybe a half a season or something. So there were a few combination of things that were just sort of like perfect sort of timing. I was intrigued by your situation. And I remember just thinking, I was kind of curious, like what your setup was in terms of this house that you had and all of that stuff. Because I can get geeked out by some of the technical aspects of it all too. So like I said, I remember coming to your facility and us just sitting down and having a conversation. And, the minute I kind of walked into the facility, it was like, okay, this guy is for real. Like, obviously most of the emails or, messages that I get, they're mostly younger people trying to figure out how to break in with almost no credits. Those are sort of almost the easier conversations to have because, when you've got nothing, it's like, okay, here's sort of a playbook of, from assistants that I've suggested before that really seems to work, with you, it was more of a, I'm a working editor. I'm just trying to make that transition into scripted, which, like everything can be difficult, so, but I remember just sitting down and having that conversation with you and right away saying, okay, this guy is like for real. Like it's really just a matter of an opportunity. So, I remember you gave me a DVD. I don't remember if there was a few episodes on it or what it was, but I watched it and it was just like, okay, this is a no brainer. Like, like this guy knows exactly the style of the show in a way that, that is going to make my life easier because, at that point I had a relationship with the guys there that it was like, they expected a lot. And, I wanted to make sure they hired somebody that, that really could sort of pull it off. So, so very quickly it was just one of those. I mean, I remember walking in with the DVD and just said, don't even waste your time. Like, watch this and hire this guy and you'll be fine. Now, granted, you still had to go in there and you had to interview and you had to impress them, and that you did. So, I mean, like, it's not as simple as me just saying, hire this guy, although it was probably 90%. I mean, you literally had to just screw that one up in a way that that they wouldn't have hired you. But then the rest was history, because I remember you were supposed to do a half a season. We ended up getting a full season pickup, so you stayed. And then I remember the season after that, it was like, I am not coming back to Burn Notice unless we have 3 editors. And then that was, and then that's basically how it sort of continued.
I love hearing the story from your perspective, because there are multiple details I wasn't even aware of until right now.